wonder how that is for like you as a coach, getting people that have been coached before, and what are some of the common things that come up as they're entering into this environment with you and this new relationship with you that you're overcoming as a coach from previous coaching, right? In terms of belief systems, plans, all that kind of stuff. What comes up?
So typically I would say if I have somebody that was previously coached nutritionally, it was by somebody that was definitely more interested in getting that person fast results because that's what the person wanted. And they probably achieved the objective through not ideal means, right?
Yeah, caloric deficit first. Like we're right into the caloric deficit without any understanding. A client comes to a coach
and they say, I want to lose X amount of pounds. And the coach goes, I want your money. We can make it happen. Yep. They put them in that deficit. The person's miserable. They reach their weight. And then what happens once they stop working with that individual? Their weight goes right back up because they learned absolutely nothing. So I'm very cautious with who I take on as a client. I'm very fortunate working with Modern Athlete that we get people that understand that and they understand and value performance, typically more so than the aesthetic piece. So when I initially talk to somebody and I tell them, this is going to be a slow and controlled process, right? We're going to lose, at most 1 to 2 pounds a week. And that's after we figure out your maintenance calories and we put you into a strategic deficit. It's not going to be lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks deal. Like that's just, if you expect that, like we're going to stop that right here. Like I will not, because my reputation as a coach depends on long-term success. I want people to think 10 years down the road when they're still successful, like, oh man, like what Erik taught me was super beneficial, right? And I think that makes it hard as a nutrition coach is because a lot of the messaging and things that I'm teaching people, it's so that they can live healthy when they're 50, 60, 70, 80. Like I'll probably be dead, but when some of these people are ready to give me a testimonial, they're like, man, I maintained a good body weight, didn't have heart disease, didn't get diabetes. I had a long, healthy life. Like, I think I'm going to give Erik a 5-star Google review. You know what I mean? Because results aren't always fast. I'd say when it comes to fast results, what clients will typically notice is if they were completely under-consuming food and under-consuming carbohydrate, they're going to get a performance bump right out of the gate. They're going to feel like an animal in the gym. Like I had one client tell me, dude, I feel like I'm on steroids. It's unbelievable, and it's like, yeah, like that is some quick results you can definitely, notice. And there's more examples, but a lot of it is going to come down the road through consistency. And to your point about it being 10x more difficult, I say that a lot to colleagues, that it's like a gripe of mine about being a nutrition coach because people aren't getting as quick a results as maybe like a strength and conditioning coach might get with a performance result. It makes it harder to maintain that reputation. In addition to that, a person can go a week without training, right? Oftentimes, that might actually even benefit their body, that rest week, right? But if you go a week without eating or a week of just eating complete trash, man, the effects are enormous.
Right.
So because you have to be so Johnny on the spot with your nutrition all the time, it does. You train maybe once a day, twice if you're, getting after it. You eat 3 times a day, if not more, and you got to be on it. So that is why the approach needs to be slow. The changes you make have to be slow. You got to change one thing at a time and really let it sink in, let the habit form and get used to it. Then attack the next thing. Because that's what's going to help somebody sustain that change for a long period of time. So one strategy, depending on the client, it might be, all right, diet's not looking perfect, right? There's a lot of areas we can improve. Let's start with breakfast. Let's get breakfast completely dialed in. Let's get the timing dialed in. Let's get the macronutrient composition dialed in. And let's get a couple different options so you don't have to eat the same thing every single day, right? Like, let's throw a parfait with granola in the mix. Let's do pancakes. Let's do eggs with, roasted yams, bell peppers, onions. Make it sexy because that's Saturday and you've got time, right? And once we have this variety and we've experimented, didn't like that one. All right, let's put that in place of that. Oop, like that one. We get this repertoire going. Now that individual can go back into the wild after my, love, care, and support and be successful with breakfast. But then after breakfast is dialed, we'll attack lunch and attack dinner and attack snacks, right? But we have to start somewhere and start slow because not everything's going to take, right? You're going to throw a lot of stuff at the wall because everyone's preferences are different. Their cultural backgrounds are different. Their lifestyle is different. Some people have kids, some people don't have kids, right? Some people are married, some people aren't married. Somebody's wife might be cooking for them or husband, and some people are single and doing all the cooking themselves. So all of these things need to be taken into consideration when we're working through a plan. That's why I like teaching the planning process so that you can think about all these things. So for example, it's Friday. I have already thought about what next week is going to look like. I know what my work client calls are, right? I know when I'm on dad duty. I know when my scheduled workout times are going to be. And I've planned my nutrition around that already. So I know when I go grocery shopping on Sunday, I know exactly what my meals are going to be because I thought through everything. And in addition to that, right, and I know how much time I have Sunday to prep all the food I need, right? That's huge. You need to know how much time you have to prep. Because if you have this huge elaborate meal plan and you go out in your kitchen and try to cook it and it's freaking 10 p.m. Sunday and you got to be in bed, you're like, oh man, well, failed.
I'll figure it out tomorrow.
Exactly. Right. I'll just stop at 7-Eleven and grab something quick, right? So that level of planning is necessary for that reason. But in addition to that, I have contingencies, right? Because everyone knows plan A typically doesn't work out. There's going to be things that come up next week that I did not plan for. So I've got my pantry completely organized and stacked with backup plans. I've got various snack foods in my car, in my gym bag, ready to go at a moment's notice, right? As a complete emergency backup. In addition to that, now I know I'm at a level that might be nutritionally above some people that are just starting out, but I feel very confident walking into any convenience store, any airport, any fast food restaurant, and I know I can build a PCC healthy plate. And that is what I try to emphasize and teach everybody I work with so they can have that same level of skill and understanding, because then you'll never get caught off guard, right? Oh, plan A didn't work. I've already eaten my contingency meal in my car and I forgot to restock, but there's a gas station right there and I know I'm going to grab maybe some pistachios. That's going to give me some calories, some healthy fat, some fiber. I'm going to grab a protein source. Maybe that looks like a drinkable protein shake. And then I'm going to grab some starchy carb because, I just worked out or whatever. And that could be, you name it, some bread, some freaking...
Tons of stuff. It's any number of things.
Right? Rice Krispie treats, all the good stuff. But they have that knowledge of, okay, I need PCC. Maybe there's some fresh fruit at that convenience store. Ideally, I feel like most gas stations, C-stores, they're going to have bananas, apples, oranges. They may not look the greatest, right? They maybe have been sitting there for a little bit, but you're still going to get that fiber. You're going to get some of those vitamins and minerals, not empty calories. And you can build that healthy plate on the go. So understanding that and being able to think on the spot and on the fly, it's just like the tactical world in any job, right? If you're in a highly chaotic environment, right? You're trained to take a deep breath and walk through your training and think through and not be, completely discombobulated. Nutrition's the same way. If you're understanding like, oh, I forgot my lunch today, what do? You pause, you take a deep breath and you go, okay, well, for lunch I had this packed and it followed these principles. I'll just go here. I'm out the money, but I'm not out the nutritional benefit. I got to pay for it because I messed up and forgot my lunch, but my nutrition and my performance isn't going to suffer as a result.
Still taken care of. I love that. You just, again, some really practical examples. You mentioned like the convenience store food, and I get that. That's probably one of the more common questions I get. I'm out on the road. I'm teaching classes. I've got, whatever. We got the kids' soccer games, and man, I'm running low on fuel. What can I get at the local, Circle K or 7-Eleven or Arco or whatever it is, that fulfills this need? I actually have like in my lists or on my notes, I have lists of stuff like, hey, here's a list of all kinds of things that fulfill these categories. Like, be careful, look at labels, on certain stuff, but here you go, man. Go check this out. Those are, I think, the things that people want, right? They want, that'll solve my problem. But you went back to the planning. Here's the other thing about planning, particularly with nutrition. And again, because it's a 24/7 deal, right? You can't take a week off.